Hi there, welcome to another educational video documenting my Web3 expedition. This video is about Zama AI. I love this project. You would have seen my introductory video about this project. The narrative is very strong. Basically, the gateway to confidential blockchain. Basically, they want to bring about the possibility of creating confidential smart contracts and then bring that feature to every existing chain. Okay, so that's a very strong narrative. Innately, Web3, however public, or blockchain smart contracts, however public, are innately private. But today we don't have confidentiality at a blockchain level, at a smart contract level. So we are limited in terms of truly Web3 applications. As you will see, when we begin to interact with applications built on Zama, you would see that they are unique, and we don't have these types of applications and innovations on in the traditional Web3 space as we should have, but we will now have that courtesy of Zama. So they use something called FHE. We will see if we can learn about that very quickly to enable this. So here it says join the Zama ecosystem and participate in the protocol through token claiming, staking, and governance. Now, if you had watched my last video, there's been some evolution since my last video. Now there are applications that you can interact with as a way of testing out Zama, which we'll be attempting to interact with in the course of this video for the first time. I don't edit my videos so that I can capture everything as is, the hassle, and then troubleshoot as needed and all that. So let's take a look at the ecosystem of Zama and interact with some of the applications on there. This is all. Uh, Zama is currently in testnet mode. So let's see what the experience is like. That will be the scope of this video. Then we will talk about, for those interested in socially contributing to Zama, what you can do towards the end of the video. So let's get started. So these are three applications making up the ecosystem at the moment. I'm clicking on see more to see if there are more. So these are the three at the moment. So I'm going to open each of them individually and try to interact with them. Okay, so you see this now. We're now talking narrative very quick. Project narrative. No, sorry, uniqueness of. Oh, this is coming soon, so we are not even going to be able to test this. But this one says your gateway to confidential swaps. So this is a project called Zypher that is going to take advantage of the technology by Zama, and they are going to make it possible for confidential finance yields swaps. So that's the narrative of this. Even this is unique. But I wish we would have been able to test it, but it doesn't seem possible to. So the status here is coming soon. Okay, so this is the methodology, a multi-chain permissionless non-custodial protocol built for privacy, for financial privacy. Hide now with Zama, I believe it's possible to encrypt aspects of a transaction, even if not the entire transaction, aspects of it that maintained that makes it then a private transaction. Okay. In the last video, we looked at demo of the process. Hopefully, we can look at that again in the course of this video. Now, for this one, we cannot test it out, but you get the gist of how it will work. When a deposit is received, lock standard ERC20 in protocol, receive synthetic tokens. Tokens are confidential and untraceable. Use transfer privately, preserve anonymity across chains. It would have been good if we can test this out to understand it, uh, more uh, practically. But considering that it's not available, let's go to the next one. So this is first truly confidential auction house on blockchain. Okay, so all these applications are carrying the term first because yes, it's likely first. Okay, then let's look at this. Okay, so this one we may be able to test. It says fully backed GBP stable coin. The future of money, simplified cross-border transactions. Okay, so this is like a stable coin, but quite encrypted. Now, okay, let's not digress. Let's not digress too much. So let's click on Mint and see what happens in turn. So here it says Mint Ethereum to receive TGBT, transfer pounds to BCP's account prior to submit transfer pounds. I don't know. I don't know if we'll be able to test this out. It says don't invest unless you're prepared to lose all your money. This is high risk. You don't want to. Let's quickly look at this. So that's just a disclaimer because I don't understand the state of this. Let's assume that let's assume I get a wallet address. Let's assume. Uh, let's pick this one. Let's. I don't think it's applicable. I don't think it's applicable. So it says we've received your. Anyway, I don't know how to interact with this. Really, I thought that we would find an application that will help us test Zama, but it's not looking like it. So, oh, see additional, but I don't think any of them is available. Wow, this is a known project. Mind Network is also a known project. So it looks like some known projects are already adopting Zama. Let's look at this. So it doesn't seem available. So this is what FHE is. Fully homomorphic encryption is the only privacy enhancing technology that enables end-to-end encryption, keeping information private. So this is coffee. We saw this earlier. So we cannot test this either. Confidentiality layer of Web3. Let's look at that. Okay. Just a moment. SBT. So this is like an identity layer that I don't believe uses traditional KYC methodology and likely uses FHE. But for this one, I will want to explore this, a bit offline before featuring it again in another video. The reason is because for this one, if I want to interact, I need to be decided on what wallet to use. It may be relevant futuristically. So I want to use the right wallet, not a tutorial wallet. So I'll look into that because you are dealing, assuming it looks like there is some SBT You may considering it's a passport to be highly to have proof your identity. You may need a wallet with history and all that. So let's leave this for now. Let's click on this. This one exists already. So World Health AI campaign. Uh, Now that will be interesting if it's that means Zama has some history. If Mind Network has a Zama incorporation. Okay, let's move on. I want a simpler application. Open Zeppelin and Zama are working together towards the standardization of confidential. So this one you may be able to, deploy a smart contract on so I'll explore this one as well offline. Deploy a smart contract on Zama. On Zama. So I'll look at this later on. This is a bit complex for the scope of this video. Confidential AI network enabled by FHE. Now, I don't know if you know the proprietor of FHE is Zama. And if it is, then it means that Zama has history already. It's already incorporated into established projects. So we cannot test this as well, but I'll leave it open. Shiba, let's see. Okay. So let's see if we can go back in time. Maybe we'll be able to see the demo as we saw in the last video. Oh, it has it been removed? Uh, just a moment. Let's. So for those interested in seeing a demo of how Zama works, this is for you. Although I'm not going to repeat it in the course of this video, I've done a tutorial about that already. But if you want to see a demo, for example, this one, encrypted credit scoring, they've put up a demo that you can test to understand how it works. So you want to get a credit score in a Web 2 setting where you typically would have to submit documentation showing your credit score, to vie for a card, for example. And then you want to do so. Let's say it's a new platform, with not established credibility. You want to interact with them to get the card, prove your credit score without relinquishing too much of your privacy. Then you can use Zama infrastructure to encrypt aspects of your interactions. Based on this demo, it looked like you can do so with different aspects. So you don't necessarily have to encrypt everything. Anything that you feel is privacy, too much, you know, privacy exposed, you can encrypt. So this is an aspect of the form. For example, with your biometrics and stuff, you can encrypt that. Banking information, you can encrypt that, stuff like that. Then I think AI, there's an AI element in this whole flow that will determine, you know, relevance. And then uh, the information is served to the right channel, and then you're approved for the card or not. So at the final stage, you'll be given a result, something like that. So let's leave it at that for this video. But before we conclude, Zama has a guild page for those who want to contribute, perhaps socially or as a programmer. You can. So I've done a video about this. You want to first of get certain roles on the Discord. Then, as a creator, you can come here. If you're a meme person, you can submit your entries into the form available here. You click this, it will take you to a form. If you are a thread writer, you can use the form provided here to submit. If you are a knowledge sharer or you want to run an event, you can use this. But before that, you have to go through the Zama proper to get certain checks. So creator program is here, developer program is here. Applies even if you're just starting as a programmer. You have as simply as created launched a smart contract on Zama, you can vie for some roles there. But this is the starting point, before you will then get the associated roles, such as this beta tester role on the Discord automatically. Then you can now vie for the creator program or the developer program. So they have levels of expertise, so you'll be able to get some roles depending on your expertise. But to participate here, you also need the community program better role, which you would have got from the page we showed initially. um this is interesting. So this is okay, I would do a dedicated video to look into this. But let's end this video for now here, bringing us to the end of this video. If you have questions, there will be avenues to reach me in the description. Also, subscribe to Web3 Wikis on all socials. Stay awesome, take action.